Great to have you with us. In our first story, the opposition National Democratic Congress has indicated the December 2020 general elections may be in danger if the Electoral Commission does not change its current position. This reaction comes on the back of a meeting the EC held with selected journalists in Accra. At that meeting, the chairperson, Jean Mensah, sought to convince the media persons why there is a need to compile a new voters register. Watch excerpts of an amateur from that meeting.
The reason I'm asking this is, Dr. Farijan is no small boy. Charlotte was saying her own rights is her own person. The previous commissioners and the people who have run the electoral commission are not small boys and girls. So unless they were benefiting from the system, what you're saying doesn't make sense. I'm sorry to say that. Unless somebody was happy the system was the way it was, so they could benefit from it. Millions of dollars paid for next to nothing done. Nobody asking questions. Did the applicant write that one?
No, let me ask that the Secretary can provide more, because he was the head of election. During the Mr. Secretary was the head of election. So
I think that person will leave it up.
Madam, this one is the rest.
No, wait, you leave it for.
Okay,
the presentation that we have just seen, is that the true fact?
Is the truth?
Because what it tells me is that then we have been working magic in this country. How have we been able to run all the elections without these problems?
Exactly.
And yet we've been able to exactly change. How did we manage it?
It is frightening, and that's why we need to build a transparent system. As I mentioned before, the vendor could shut the whole system in. They could control it from sitting somewhere. And we didn't have the data. Your data center, your database was controlled by them. Yes, but that's your data center.
Yeah, so that's what's president.
And your database was in their hands. So if they can shut it, and you had there was nothing you could do about it.
Let me help you.
And this information was available to everybody at IBAN that the vendor could do this. Was IBAN aware of this?
I believe
that this is the power sitting in
it came that election year we've not done it, so I had to call my operations people, and they said, oh, in 2004 we did it during election year. In 2012 we did it during election year. Later on the argument changed to cost, and based on our discussion we noticed that using the old system will even be more expensive. I think currently what they are now talking about is that they think we should go ahead and buy the equipment, but the data. Now that's where the agreement is. Now the cost, we understand, but they don't want to make that one openly. But behind the scenes, they will say, buy the equipment, buy this, buy your new data center, your BVD, your BVR, everything is fine. But don't touch the data. And don't explain that if we are not very careful, you are doing the migration, you have data loss. And at the end of the day, you end up creating a lot of problems. And that one is not even possible because of the proprietary format.
And it's also important to note that in 2016, when we did the limited registration exercise for 800,000 people, the commission at the time spent 487 million seats for 800, less than 1 million people. Today, the budget that we have prepared for registries close to 70 million.
It's kind of what is that?
390 million 4 years later for 70 million. Vis-a-vis 490 million for 800,000. I think that it is the way that the system was also run. The entire piece, not just the ITs. This is something that you find in all areas where there was a lack of accountability.
Is it not a case of
maybe those that contact available to them?
And how many is your staff? What's the number of staff you have at EC? And nobody picked this up. Nobody.
Nobody. And that's why I mentioned that it was I don't want to use the word. And then it was allowed. They got away with it. And it's just as you feel, you're not able to sleep. That's how I felt when I went. The first 2 weeks I was not able to sleep. And it's not just the rest.
If I may go,
Yes, you've been quiet. Lucky there hasn't been any war in this country.
They're not angry enough in this country.
Interesting proceedings there, but speaking in an interview with my colleague Mama V. Oso Abuaje, General Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress says the EC is in breach of the law with its current timelines to compile a new register. Mr. Siedu Nketia says the party has issues with the credibility of the current Electoral Commission.
The problem we have as a nation actually has a lot to do with the credibility of the Electoral Commission as it is now. Because many political parties, including us, we don't believe what the Electoral Commission says.
Only because you did not appoint the commissioner.
It's not that. Because of their track record, they say something today, then the next day they will change it. The following day they change it. Let me tell you something. At the hearing, Electoral Commission was asked a simple question. When will the register be ready if we have to do a new register as per your program? And they were emphatic that 8th of November, the final register will be ready. Now I'm hearing other stories that subsequently they met, some media houses, and they are saying a different story. Okay. There are cases where Electoral Commission, chairperson of Electoral Commission makes an emphatic statement that to address the challenges of people moving from their villages to district centers to register, the commission was going to provide buses. After 3 days when we met at IPAC, they said that is not the position of the commission. So I am worried that we may have to go into an election where one set of results will be announced today, 3 days later they will announce a different one, and it is not good for anybody. So if the committee of eminent persons have met us and assured us that they will go and do their homework and then they will let us know the outcome, then that outcome must not be coming from the mouths of Electoral Commission. So Electoral Commission itself, they don't believe in whatever advice the committee of eminent persons will give, because they have demonstrated clearly that they just are meeting media people, committee of eminent persons, council of state or something, as a way to whitewash a bad decision they have taken already. So in all their engagement, they have not demonstrated that they are prepared to listen and to evaluate their position to see whether they are on the right track or not. But all they have been doing is just to get a listening ear for some people to sing their praises that, oh, what you are doing is right, go ahead with it. That is what they are doing. So it's just decisions they have taken, and they want, as an afterthought, some people to endorse it. And that was what they tried doing, and they failed at IPAC. And we are saying that, look, we are holding them, we are not denying them their independence. But every institution in Ghana operates according to law, even the independent judiciary. They have rules of court. They have procedures. So the fact that you are independent doesn't mean that your independence allows you to do something that is not according to any law in this country. In their own electoral rules, it is stated there clearly that, you cannot open nominations later than 30 days to the election day. Okay. And it cannot be earlier than 90 days to the election day. I'm quoting from CI 94. So, but the register, final register must be ready before you can think about opening of nomination. So if you are saying that the final register is going to be ready on 8th November, which itself is 29 days to election day, so you are already in breach of your own laws.
It's live on JoyNews today. Now, former Attorney General and Ministry of Justice Marietta Apiaupong has in a statement denied that officials of aircraft manufacturing giant Airbus paid or attempted to pay millions of dollars in bribes in exchange for contracts. Ghana's involvement in the issue that has led to Airbus being slapped a £3 billion fine by a British court is in connection to the purchase of a C-295 military transport aircraft between 2009 and 2015. The issue came to light during court proceedings in which Airbus admitted 5 counts of failing to prevent bribery, using a network of secret agents to pay large-scale backhanders to officials in foreign countries to land high-value contracts.
Filed in the UK court by prosecutors from the UK Serious Fraud Office show that a number of Airbus employees made or promised success-based commission payments of approximately €5 million to one highly connected intermediary who facilitated the bribes and the purchase of the planes. It found that contrary to Section 7 of the Bribery Act 2010, between July 1, 2011 and June 1, 2015, Airbus failed to prevent persons associated with it from bribing others concerned with the purchase of military transport aircraft for the government of Ghana. The bribe was intended to obtain or retain business or advantage in the conduct of business for Airbus. Between 2009 and 2015, an Airbus defense company engaged someone only identified as Intermediary 5 as its representative in respect of the proposed sale of 3 military transport aircraft to the government of Ghana. We do not know who Intermediary 5 is, but there are clues provided by the UK Serious Fraud Office. They describe this individual as a close relative of a high-ranking elected Ghanaian government official. He is also described as a UK national with no prior expertise in the aerospace industry. A number of Airbus employees knew that Intermediary 5 was a close relative of the government official. The name of the government official was also not disclosed, but the UK Serious Fraud Office observes that this official was a key decision maker in respect of the proposed sales. False documentation was created by or with the agreement of Airbus employees in order to support and disguise the payment of bribes. The payments were intended to induce or reward, quote, improper favor, unquote, by the government official towards Airbus. Payments were eventually stopped due to the arrangement failing the due diligence processes required by the liquidation committee. A French court announced last Friday that Airbus will now pay $4 billion in fines to settle the global corruption investigation. The settlement with the authorities in France, Britain and the United States closes 4 years of investigations into accusations that Airbus, between 2004 and 2016, used intermediaries to bribe public officials in numerous countries to buy its planes and satellites. The episode had tarnished the company's reputation and forced it to make sweeping changes to top management. It also allows Airbus to avoid criminal charges that, if proved, could have crippled its business by prohibiting the company from seeking public contracts in Europe and the United States. Airbus will be subject to 3 years of, quote, light compliance monitoring in France, the nation's anti-corruption agency said on Friday. There are calls already here in Ghana for the Economic and Organized Crime Office to investigate these revelations and prosecute the government official or officials who benefited from these corrupt payments.
Now, the president has been speaking to this. We'll hear his response later. But in the meantime, my colleague Mama V. Oso-Abuaje has been speaking with the General Secretary of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun-Ketia. He believes the alleged bribery scandal is a diversionary tactic by government.
View about this. Whenever MPP has its back on the wall, they just want to divert the attention of the nation, and that is what they are doing. Is their attempt to divert attention of the nation from this electoral register and the other burning issues. So it is much ado about nothing.
How do you draw this conclusion when the case was not even tried? This was not a Ghanaian court. This is a UK court. How do they have control over that?
Can I finish? I'm not sure the UK court called anybody from Ghana to testify or invited anybody from Ghana to do anything. So the Attorney General, as at that time, has issued a statement that what they are putting out there in the newspapers is false. And that she's preparing to come and react to it. So that gave me the confidence that, well, these people are at their diversionary best. So they just want something. You know, if your cow gets lost, and you may be so desperate that in looking for that cow, you'll be looking into a hen coop to see whether a cow is hiding in the hen coop. That's what they are doing. They are very desperate. But it brings some very interesting development. I'm told that the president has ordered special prosecutor to go and investigate something.
That's actually a statement that was issued from the presidency.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought the president said that public institutions are not under his control and that they are to do their work. So the president didn't see or hear about excavators that have been vanished. Or he didn't hear about the tricycle, containers load of tricycles that have vanished in this country.
What's your point? Were you expecting that he would make reference?
If he is the one who orders people to investigate, there are sufficient evidence about wrongdoing now happening in Ghana. I thought he was quiet because when you tell him, he says, I'm not the person who orders investigation. But now that he has proven that he orders investigation, he should please go and order investigation.
I mean, is it an order or this is
the vanishing excavators? Because you can't have 50 or more than 50 excavators vanishing into thin air, and then there is an investigator in Ghana who can be ordered by the president, and the president is not worried. You cannot have container loads of tricycles and bicycles vanishing completely in this country.
But this is
the accusations are even coming from his appointees, and nobody is ordering investigation.
I was just going to say that this is a matter that also involves other countries. That has even gotten Malaysia to get one of its ministers to resign. They're also probing into this matter.
I'm saying that, look, let's stick by what the Attorney General has promised, the former Attorney General. She will come out. But I'm saying we are open for any investigation, including investigation of the vanishing of excavators.
Let's look at that statement that the presidency has released. And we know the government has directed the Office of Special Prosecutor to take up this case and investigate government officials, both current and former, involved. But the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu, has questioned the efficiency of the Office of Special Prosecutor to investigate the alleged bribery scandal. Before we hear from Mr. Senanu, let's bring you some quick details of that statement that the presidency has released. Of course, you see the caption there: inquiry into bribery of Ghanaian officials in military aircraft deal. Now, it refers to the statement of fact which we had in the earlier reports that was brought. Let's skip all the way down to the conclusion of this statement. The facts in this case are given largely in the report that was read to you earlier by my colleague Komla Adum. So let's go down to, it says that President Akufo-Addo has taken notice of the judgment and its implications and has therefore referred it to the Office of Special Prosecutor to collaborate with its UK counterparts to conduct a prompt inquiry to determine the complicity or otherwise of any Ghanaian government official, past or present, involved in the said scandal, and to take the necessary legal action against any such individual as required by Ghanaian law. There you have it. President Akufo-Addo ordering for investigations into any Ghanaian officials, past or present, who may have been involved in this deal. Adam Senanu, though, had this to say on hearing this.
Obvious that one could do hopefully some kind of tracking to find out who especially are we talking about. Even when we do identify them, they have the right to say, no, this is not true. And then one has to try and get credible evidence to suggest that indeed this person is the one who collected or didn't collect, and therefore they influence the process. One also has to look at the process. What was the request for? What type of specifications did the government of Ghana have? Did we really get value for money? Is there any evidence to suggest that all other factors being constant, the award would not have gone to Airbus for these particular airplanes? So there's a lot that would happen. By the nature of the mandate given to the Special Prosecutor's Office, it would appear that that's a good place to put it. But whether it is the best, given the current track record of performance, I think we would have a lot of difficulty there.
You are doubting his competence?
Not competence. It is the efficiency of delivery.
Okay, so you are doubting his efficiency of delivery?
The efficiency with which he could deliver on this. And don't say him. I mean, I think we need to make a distinction between the person and the office. The office capacity, as far as I know, he still just has 3 investigators there. With 3 investigators already overloaded with all the other cases, I don't see how quickly he can work on this, which is very important to all of us.
Away from that story, the fishermen and canoe owners at Kwando Toko in the Kwando municipality of the Volta region have lamented the insufficient supply of the premixed fuel to their area. According to them, the quantity of fuel allocated is woefully inadequate, hence they are unable to go on fishing expeditions as required. They have therefore appealed to the National Premix Committee to increase supply of fuel to their area. Correspondent Fred Kwame Asari has more in the following report.
Kwando Toko, which lies close to the Volta Lake in the Kwando municipality, is a predominant fishing community. Both young and old engage in activities relating to fishing to support their livelihood. This makes fishing the heartbeat of the local economy. But the residents say inadequate supply of premixed fuel to the area is affecting their age-old occupation.
The premixed fuel do comes to town like 2 months or roughly 1 month that the premixed fuel do come to town, which is hurting the fishermen. The fisher folks, it is hurting them. Right now, when you can see the line, if you can see the line, you can see the number of gallons we have in the line. It's more than 1 tanker.
According to the London Beach Committee, about 40,000 litres of premixed fuel is supplied the area monthly. This is sold to fisher folks in Toko and surrounding riverine communities, but some both owners told JoyNews the quantity supply does not meet their demand.
We need the premise to use. We are the fishermen. Here, 1 trip of fishing, we go 4 times before we retrieve fish or catch fish. We will go first and cast the net and come back and sleep. The next day, you go back to retrieve the net and come back to our shore again before making yourself. We need more fuel.
We go and buy super and mix it with engine oil before go for our route. It costs us a lot. So our work that we are doing, we don't get any interest in the work nowadays. Always shortage. We complain several times, but up to now we didn't get any good results.
The chairman of the Kwando Toko London Beach Committee, Robert Segbethia, appealed for an increase in allocation to the area.
When we realized that the fuel was not enough, we called on the woman organizer for the party for her to use her office to make another appeal. So, being that as a Fish Mothers Association president, her office was able to maneuver things and be able to get another allocation as we speak. So we have 3 LBs in the community. So if the government adhere to this particular 3 LBs, I hope it will be enough for us.
Another lingering challenge is the deteriorating access road to the community, which residents say is affecting their health and economic activities.
Our road is a great problem for us. The road is not good, and there is dust. The dust is worrying us, bringing us disease and sicknesses. So we appeal to the government to help us.
Residents here are hoping the National Premix Fuel Committee and the government would act on their plea to save their livelihoods. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Kwando Toko.
Let's go up north, and the newly appointed Municipal Chief Executive, MCE, for the West Mamproshi Assembly, Haku Arumiyao Somo, has promised to tackle issues of insecurity, poor quality education and low healthcare delivery, which have been the major concerns of residents in the area. The municipality for some time now has been bedeviled by increased robbery attacks, poor performance of students at the basic level, and inadequate healthcare facilities, among others. Residents have repeatedly agitated for removal of government appointees and civil service officers accused of doing little to confront the challenges. As a result, the West Mamprushim Municipal Assembly continues to record the highest incidence of transfer of public sector workers, including security officers, in the whole of the Northeast region. The last municipal chief executive, Mr. Mohammed Abu, was removed from office following street demonstrations by the residents over the same concerns. However, in an exclusive interview with JoyNews ahead of a confirmation event tomorrow, Mr. Tomo says his administration would prioritize infrastructure development, sanitation, and inequality.
The major challenge that is confronting West Mamprushim as we speak is security. There's armed robbery everywhere. I heard there are plans for us to have police stations across some of the zones, Janga, Pasimpia, and Wungu area, to improve upon our security setup. You know, by nature, Wale is a business town. Everybody wants to have conducive atmosphere to do their businesses. Market women are being attacked on their way to the various markets that they trade. And if this continues, the long run effect will not be good for us. We must get a solution to that. And the solution should be now and not later. I want to see if, by the grace of Almighty Allah, have been confirmed on Tuesday, security will be my topmost priority area to work on. Apart from security, education and health will also be a priority area. Educational infrastructure is still lacking in the municipality, as well as health infrastructure. We'll look at it. Indeed, we are grateful that for the personnel, because of the health assistance school in Alego, that is producing a lot of nurses and midwives, we now have personnel. What we need is infrastructure and logistics. I will team up with various stakeholders to see how best we can improve upon our educational and health infrastructure. The other issue have to do with our roads, our road network. The road network in the municipality is very poor. We thank the president the last time he gave us 2 major roads. That is from Janga all the way to Paragu to Mimima.
Still live on News Today, and coming up in business, Finance Ministry justifies introduction of new system to take over single window operations at the port beginning this month, despite resistance from importers and freight forwarders. Emmanuel Abwajibiafe has those details after this.